Hello guys, welcome and namaste. So this video is gonna be quick tutorial or introduction about Material UI for React. So Material UI is basically a UI trend set by Google, and this is a React based theming library or a component library for building a user interface. And in this video we're gonna be walking through like how we can use it, how we can implement this in a project. In fact, this would be a series where we'd be extending the template or theme we built on this video and implement it with WordPress APIs. So if you want to continue exploring or extending on the React side of implementation of things, yeah, feel free to subscribe and stay tuned. So let's get started. So this is a website URL for Material UI, and we simply do npm install to set up a project. So let's get started. Let's go to my project directory and create a blank new create React app. Let's call it Material UI test. So let's create a project, and this would help us to create a project. So it's gonna take some time. So yeah, so this is installed. Let's go into the directory and let's open it in our code editor. VS Code is what I use. So let's set up let's just start a project to watch how it looks. So yeah, it says the port 3000 is already running for some reason, so let's open it up on a different port. So yeah, 3001. So this is a React boilerplate that we get. So let's keep it here for the time being. I'll just add it here. So this is a little boilerplate you get when you set up a blank React template. So basically I would like to get rid of stuff that we no longer need. So let's get rid of few of the files. So these are the files I would not use on the project, so let's move it to trash. But then there are some reference to them, so let's get rid of that. We're not using service worker, we're not using index on the app. Let's get rid of all the hello world, and we're not using special logos. So yeah, as you can see, so this is a very blank setup for our React. Let's open up our integrated terminal. So it is a blank it is a blank React, where we would now set up a Material UI. So npm install Material UI core. That's what we do. And now let's go to a basic implementation of how it can be used. So let's go to their documentation and see how we can use. So let's say we, for instance, want a button. So as you can see, it's very straightforward for what we need. So for instance, if you need to use their button component, what we'll do is we'll basically just import their button from their library, and then we can start using them on our project. So yeah, and I think you have access to some of the color attributes as well. So let's say you want a color primary, that's what you get. Let's say secondary, that's what you get. So these are the default implementation or of a implementation of a color palette. Secondary, yeah. So we have this all the kinds of buttons. So let's say let's see how the disable button looks. So hold on, disabled button. This is how it disabled. This is secondary, this is primary. So this is how Material UI is easy to get up and running with, right? But then we're going to extend it a little further. We might want to use our own color palettes on our template. So yeah, let's get a bit into theming to make it follow our own theming pattern. So for that, there is theme provider, and that's what we're gonna wrap our entire entire app with theme provider, where it's gonna start using our theme. So for that, in their documentation, there's a very clear-cut example about like how we can use export a theme component and theme object. So yeah, on the theming, let's go and create one file called theme.js here, and let's try to let's see, color palette. Let's pick a color palette that we might want to use here. So yeah, let's go with this. So let's say this is our primary color. So on a primary color, this is what we want, and on a secondary color, let's say this is what we want. Okay, so a very rough example on how these can be used. So once we have the color palettes defined, you're gonna use their theme provider, and wrap this to your app component. So basically what I mean by that is you go to your index.js and import a theme provider here, and you're gonna wrap your app. So basically everything you do would be since index.js is an entry point, everything you do inside app would be your entire project. So that's what you wrap in, and you can start using that with the various components. So let's say import a theme provider from material UI core and styles. Yeah, so that's what a theme provider would have. And then we also import theme from our root. So this is since we're exporting, we're not exporting, so let's export default theme. So yeah, so theme would be a default export from our theme JS file. So then we didn't need to break it down since it's a default import. So now basically what we can do is we can use theme provider, where we can pass a prop theme, and once you do that, now basically you are starting to use your own color palettes here. So let's say the main color is that, but then as you can see, it would make sense to this dark color is not contrasting well. So this color palettes property has different implementation. So main is what we have as a primary, for the primary color. Main is a primary entry, but then this has other options as well. For instance, what are the contrast color of that primary color would be. So let me try to grab yeah, so as you can see, the color palette has different like values where you can define what the light color of that would be. In this case, let's use a contrast text, and for that, contrast text would be for our case, since it is black, let's just go with white maybe. Yeah, I think that works for now. So since we're not like here to discuss in depth about like color and that sort of stuff, so let's roll with that. So this is a very basic implementation. Basically, you can like extend this to optimize or adjust the theming to a greater extent to match with your project needs. So for now, let's settle it here, and let's start building various other UI that we're gonna use on a project. So let's see. Let's see if we have any nav bar, or yeah, I think they call it app bar. Yeah, let's see if we can use that. Okay. So it's very easy on how we can use that. For now, what I'm gonna do is I'll just copy that. Let's not clutter that with the app, so let's create a folder called components. Okay, and here we're gonna have a header. Okay, on a header we will basically just use that as our starting point. So yeah, nothing crazy, I hope, so far. So in here, let's import header from components and header, and let's use the header our app module not found. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So I forgot to rename it, so let's call it header. And we have our error again. Let's see, module not found. So we are using icon, and I believe while we are installing, we never bothered to install the icon pack. So you need to set up icon separately as well if you want to use that. So let's quickly go ahead and do that, and that should get rid of that error. So yeah, our app bar is ready, but we don't want that toggle thingy there. So yeah, let's get rid of that. My blog. Yeah, so that's what we have for now. Okay, nothing quite fancy, and that's what we have as a header. So we won't bother to further work here, because like it's all depends on, like, you might probably want to customize it, pull your own navigation system, your other like integration like login, log out, that sort of stuff on a website. So the point is like how we can quickly like get up and running with their layout system. So in here, let's go ahead and use one of the component called box they have. It's basically similar to like what we have as a div on HTML. So that's what we're gonna be using here. So let's first of all import box here before using. So yeah, so in here after header, let's use a box which says for now h1 welcome to my blog. Okay, so here let's say we want something banner. Let's say we want some sort of banner image here. So let's go to our site on Splash where you get some royalty free photos. So for blogging, let's an orientation, let's get some landscape pictures. Yeah, this looks cool. So let's grab their URL, and in here we'll just paste that in. Okay, and hopefully now we have a image here. So this is basically exactly like div. So you can even give a class name where you can call it banner. Okay, in here now you can basically come get rid of everything here that's part of the React boilerplate. So a banner, you can basically say, let's say height would be 400 pixel and width would be, let's say, 100%. Okay, so and then we overflow everything to hidden. So that's what we have as a part of banner. And anything like image inside a banner would be, let's set it height to 100% and width to 100% also. And let's see, object fit cover. Yeah. So a very very rough idea in terms of like how you can use it. So I wouldn't go quite deep into the CSS thing. So in here, let's say you want to have h1 right in the like middle, right? So for banner h1, let's say position is absolute. So that means you need to say give a relative position, and let's bump up a jet index and top, let's say 40%. Okay, yeah, and text align center color white. So I think it's not getting full width, so that's why the white text is not so visible in here. So let's give some opacity to the image, say 0.8, sorry, 0.8. And then for banner, since the image has some transparency, let's give some background that is black. Yeah, so as you can see now, you can see the text a bit better. Let's bump it down a little more, 6. Yeah, so that's what we have for now. Okay, so for the section, that's it. That's what we want to do for now. Maybe you want to do some carousel or anything you would want on your layout. So we would stop it there for now, and let's go back to our documentation. So the idea would be, that part being set up. Let's set up some cards, where later on some sort of CMS like WordPress API would populate those cards based on what we have on the server. So let's see how cards are set up. So yeah, let's go. So basically you can have something very simple like this. So we'll just use that for the purpose of this demonstration. So let's go ahead and create new component called card.js, and will basically be, using same stuff from the documentation. So that's what we have. We are exporting card in here. Yeah, looks okay. Let's call it card. Okay, or let's say my card. So let's rename it my card. Yeah. So this image is broken. So let's see. Let's use whatever we had for our banner, just so we can have a broken image and title my blog title. Yeah, let's see how that renders on our component. So my card is somewhat set up. So we have some kind of styles where you can use inline styles to override some of the components properties here as well. So on our app CSS, let's import my card from components my card. Okay, and let's create another box. Let's not give any classes for timing, and we can now use my card over here. So yeah, as you can see, the card is set up. But then of course we now want to have some sort of grid on our setup. So we can have multiple instances of our cards, and they appear on a grid like format. So let's see how the grid system works. So the grid component has is used similar to how other components are being used. So for instance, let's see, you're gonna import grid system first to make it work. So let's import grid from the documentation, and then we would have a setup where you can set up a component grid. So let's copy this for now and see how it looks. For now, I'll just keep it here and see how that looks. So sorry. So we have an error from form row. So because we don't want that. So yeah, so this is a grid container. I mean, that we are using. So all right. So for now, it doesn't look what we expected. But if you look at their grid documentation, you can define various breakpoints. So what kinds of grid you want to set up for extra small or large device and that sort of stuff. Very typical to like how we used to work on the CSS framework like Bootstrap and that sort of thing. So let's see what we can do here. So in here for the very small layout or extra small layout, let's say we want 6 and basically it's a 12 column layout. So for medium, let's say we want 4. So for the medium layout, it's gonna be like, you know, 3 cards per row, and for a smaller it's gonna be 2. So let's say if we go here, it's 3 up there, and for a smaller it's gonna be 2. So that's what grid is. Let's also, like, you know, wrap it up so in a container. So for now it's 100%, but basically I want my block section just to be, you know, on a fixed container. So that's what we want to do. Let's see, container. So in here you have a fluid container and a fixed container, and my requirement is to use a fixed container here. So basically we import container from there, projects, and just say container fixed for our grid. So yeah, so instead of box, let's use container. Okay, so I think, yeah, so as you can see now it fits in right here, right over here. So if you want to, like, you know, so now you can override some of the properties. So let's say class name blocks, or say section blocks, and want to override some of their properties. Let's say margin top would be 100 pixel. So, oh, that's too much, 100 pixel. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is a block section, and we have done some of the optimization. Well, not too much, but some of the optimization for our. So yeah. So the only part of the problem right now is, like, you know, if we are very into narrow container, there's no spacing between the cards. So I'm not sure, like, you know, the material UI to work around this. So what I'll do as a quick fix for now is, let's, you know, say we have a div called my card. We wrap that around to our card component, and basically this would set up some, you know, some margin. So margin, say 20 pixel. So that would offset like some of the spacing, and it maintains the space. So of course we want to, you know, we want to write some media queries and fix some of the stuff, so it's not so, it's more optimized to the mobiles and other as well, other screen resolutions as well. So yeah, so this is basically a quick, like, you know, introduction into how we can use Material UI and extend Material UI to fit our needs and requirements and that sort of stuff. So of course there are way lot more than what you can do, so this is just a tip of the iceberg, and to help you get started, like how you can get started working with these. So in the next episode we're gonna extend these. We might work, you know, some part of Material UI to make it more optimized and look a bit better, but then the focus would be now to make it, you know, dynamic. So where you use React to populate the various content on the page from the APIs. In this case, we'll be using WordPress APIs and that sort of stuff. So it's gonna be quite interesting. So stay tuned. Hope you like this quick introduction on Material UI for now. So yeah, that's it for today. Bye for now. Enjoy.